this is another website, another kind of tool that we can use that is not trying to sell you something. So Freddie Mac is a GSE, government sponsored entity or enterprise. I can never remember whether it's entity or enterprise. Anyway, Freddie Mac is one of the entities that at the top of the food chain buys a bunch of these mortgages, right? So Synergy One, we originate the loan, we underwrite the loan, we fund the loan, we will likely even service the loan, meaning that the consumer will see that like the mortgage statement goes out with Synergy One Mortgage. Scott Grove's your loan officer, so we'll handle the loan soup to nuts. But as far as the debt, the actual $500,000 mortgage note, the cash that was sent to escrow to pay for that house, those debts will frequently get bought by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. And Freddie Mac has a great tool on their website. And again, we'll put the link because it's some really long link, but it's just like, hey, what can I afford? Right. So if I go to Mortgage News Daily and I put in kind of average rates at the time of this recording, October of 2023, average rates in the mid sevens, and I put in my income and I put in what my other monthly debts are, and I put in kind of just a few assumptions about my finances, it will tell you more or less what you can afford. Now, look, the first thing that should happen if you have a question or if you have a client with a question of what can I afford, introduce them to Scott Groves, right? Because I'll take the time to walk them through what does the math look like? Should they get pre-approved? Even if they're a year out from buying, I'd still love to talk to them to say, hey, here's the things you want to be thinking about a year out, like taking care of your credit card, shoring up your finances, right? Making sure if you have variable income that you start to keep track of what are my bonuses, my commission, am I working overtime, right? So it's like, even if somebody's a year out from buying, again, we're recording this in October 2023. If they're like, oh man, I'm not planning to buy until October 2024, we should still start a conversation with them today so that we can put them on the path and we can make sure that they understand what goes into the kind of Venn diagram, their credit, their income, and their assets, what goes into the Venn diagram of qualifying for a house, and where they might need to make some improvements and where they might need to like kind of start tracking so that they can buy that 400,000, 100, $1.4 million house, $4 million house. Like everybody at every different range of income and home ownership and property values, they all need to be on that path to buy, right? There's something they can improve about their credit, income, or their assets in order to either qualify for more or get a better interest rate. However, if somebody wants just a quick tool of like, hey, I'd really like to just go on and see maybe what I can afford, play with some numbers without getting 500 phone calls from, Redfin or Zillow or somebody who's selling your information. Because what will happen now is if you go to a lot of mortgage calculators online, it will give you some basic information, but it's like, hey, do you want your full breakdown with taxes and insurance, et cetera, et cetera? Once you fill in your information, you're now in some lead aggregator's funnel and they will sell your data, and your client will get hit up by 100 lenders and 20 realtors who buy the data, right? From these online mortgage calculators. So if you just want a very generic tool here at Freddie Mac that you can put in some information and kind of see what you can afford, you just look at affordability by income, or you can tell the system how much of a payment you want to make. But the income tends to be a little bit more makes sense, right? People will want to put in their income. Let's say they've got a car payment and a credit card that costs about $900 a month. Let's say they've got about $100,000 down. You can start to play with this and see what you can buy and see what you can afford. And so just another great tool that takes some of the emotion out of it. It definitely takes the consumer out of, filling all their information in online, where then they'll be hit up by every realtor and every lender under the sun. Because again, many of these websites, they sell the data. That's what they're there for. They're an advertising or a marketing company. And so just another tool that you can use, you can go over with the client, you can send to your client.